I'm not
No
ready yet.
big deal.
I need to hear all that. I need to catch up on the news from the island first.
No, you're also going to Florida. I mean,
We'll see about that. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
If you're going to Florida, what's Naftali Liner doing for Pesach?
He's going to Florida.
Does he get the pool house? How's that work?
He's Naftali Line when he comes is the concierge, the doorman, the bellhop, the shopper. Yeah.
And I know how.
Which part? What you Orlando or Miami?
Orlando, you cannot. You have if you know to be a yid, you need a bris and you need to go to Orlando at some point.
I didn't know. I guess that's like when my parents told me because I don't eat chillin' and gefilte fish. I was lacking in my Yiddishkeit, so I guess it's the same thing. I have to go to Orlando now.
I've known you for a very long time, Murray. It's not just the cholent and the gefilte fish that you're lacking.
It's true. It's true. I said that my parents told me that when I was younger, not now.
Fine.
Yeah. Hello.
it must feel good. You're getting How to Be a Jew Musa from Simon.
Yep. All the way from Indiana with the 12 other Jews.
Yeah.
Better is to fill it up with hot water and then reboil it. But,
Listen, Rabban, I've read the Reb Feifeld book at least 30 times.
I'm sorry, say again. I'm sorry.
I read the Reb Feifeld book at least 30 times, so at least I'm somewhat conversant.
Okay, very good.
You just said you left it.
I wanted to show you my picture in the book, if you had the book.
Reb Aaron, he took it seriously about the Chathor. It doesn't count till 101 times. It's not the same as 100 times.
I read it almost once a month at this point. No joke.
He took it quite literally there, Simon, huh?
I love it.
It's very good.
Yaakov, any geschmack of Pesach Shilas that you want to share?
no, it's all the same stuff.
Nothing like some crazy woman came up with something. Come on, you gotta have something.
If I signed a contract with somebody to rent my house for $6,000 and somebody came to me today and wants to give me 12, can I break the contract? That's okay. Is that good?
Yeah.
Reb Aaron, there's something wrong with you because a week before Yom Tif, I mean, we're already starting in the 18 range. So you're
it's 18?
You're off base already
Well,
now.
my house is small. It only has 6 bedrooms. It's small.
Afterwards, I have to eat something like a lunch.
Yeah. All right. How was your drasha today, Rabbi? Went well?
They said it went well. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, Baruch Hashem. All right, let's go. Yeah.
What are you sitting?
One second. You can't just make a comment like that and not fill us in a little bit. But what drasha
What did
are we
you say?
talking about?
I spoke by my Angel Shepherd brothers.
Oh, okay.
Reb what page?
Is it on Torah anytime yet?
I don't know if Mendel posted it any place. I don't know. The back of the book, Shlomo is sitting with somebody on the back porch of the yeshiva.
Yeah, I know that picture.
That's
We
me.
have some live people. We got
Simon,
Yeah.
that's me.
Not social.
Oh, yeah?
I talked to him. Oh, okay.
Okay, now we show
Live share. More people can come.
Liner.
Yes.
Liner.
Yes.
A PSA. You got to move away from behind Siakov until your what's it called clears up.
Until
Your
what
cold clears up.
Why do I have to move away from him?
Because I can't listen to the share in the morning with you snorting and sniffling and coughing.
Okay.
They want to know about kashering.
No jokes, Liner. I'm telling you, I
Best
cursed
is
you out
chametz
so
pot
many
and
times.
All right.
Fill it up with water.
I'm not behind him. I'm in front of him.
Wherever, in front of him. You're right by the mic. Every time you...
Who's Icky socially distancing from?
Yeah, he's social distancing. He's on the
tired.
Icky's not here for sure. He's here to fall asleep on the couch. Okay, he got away from his family and he's here to fall asleep on the couch.
Got it.
Nishov Shabbos Gared. This is recording.
1 second.
Oh.
It's Jacob. I didn't know there was an option like that.
Of course, there's an option. We got many couches. We got here. We got couch there.
Orange.
Couch there. We
Reb
got
Aaron.
top. I got.
Yeah,
we
that's
got one in
me.
the corner.
Yeah.
That's the front of the book, just so you know.
Oh, it's in
Which
front.
book are you talking about?
Okay.
Which book are you
Thank
talking
you.
about?
Page 71, the Rip Reifeld book.
Oh, yeah? Very nice.
Simon,
Okay, let's-
because I used to wear my watch with the face inside. You know,
That's old school. That's old school. All right. Okay, ready? So we're on the two dots. The top line on Gimel Amud Aleph.
Just before you start, did we make a plan for the rest of the week yet? What are we doing?
We're gonna try and go a little faster, starting tomorrow and Thursday. Right? If we do a Shabbos, Sunday, we'll try. The goal is by second night Yom Tov, Motzei Yom Tov, first days, to do a blot and a half, and hopefully we'll be
We're
caught up.
gonna learn on Erev Pesach on Friday.
I think we did last year.
We did last year. A lot of
Does
guys
anybody
are not here.
remember?
We did last year. We definitely did.
We were also on lockdown.
I said this year it's easier. What are you doing at Pesach this year? It's not really at Pesach.
I mean,
No,
you're
it's
not
still
doing a lot of the
Pesach.
preparations for the Seder still.
Yeah, you got to do all the
Just
preparations.
saying,
for the Seder.
you have to still do the same preparations.
What preparations?
What everything? It has to be
Everything, the salt water, the maror, everything you got to,
Rice,
everything you got to do before.
You could buy that at Aaron's Casino Farms.
You
Don't
just
worry
mentioned
about it.
everything your wife does. What am I saying?
I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that there's stuff to do. On a regular Shabbos, there's nothing to do.
right.
But
You
this
gotta make
man
them
is
all.
this man is 7 o'clock.
I'm there. I'm learning. If there's a shear, I'm there. So I'm
Okay, good.
I'm asking. I'm not.
It's a good
I'm not
excuse.
complaining.
It's a good excuse to get out of the house.
And there's
Whatever,
definitely no
to, you know,
avosubanim.
right.
Randa's not showing up anyway.
I think we did it on Erev Yom Tov, so we'll do it on Erev Yom Tov. Whoever can't
Jacob,
make
I
it, we'll leave
remember. I
it.
remember doing because I was on the porch. I was already wearing my kittel then. I remember for sure.
Oh, I remember that, Taka. Right. Yeah. Very good. Very good.
It was all COVID last year. We don't do anything anyway.
Okay, so
They
let's see.
do the edits.
But that's the goal. But hopefully by Motzei Yom Tov we'll be caught up. Probably have to do an extra Amud on Motzei Yom Tov. But the truth is, these Amudim go. It's just the phrases are a little different, but they're pretty fast Gemaras, at least today.
The questions are minimal.
So what are we doing? Do we do a blot today or a blot and a half?
No, blot.
Oh,
So we said that they're masakin right on Purim, on Tesvav. They fix the streets and well, they both mean streets, and the mikvahs amayim, and they do kol tzarchei ram. So Elohein tzarchei ram. Right. So these are, what do we call tzarchei ram? This is really talking about what they did on Chol HaMoed, right? But and we're going to compare the two. So Dana Dine Mamanis with Dine Nefashis. They do Dine Mamas and Dine Nefashis. Dine Makas, anytime anybody needs Makas. Upaydin Erchin, V'charamim V'ekteshus. And their Paida Erchin is when somebody says he's donating himself to the Beis HaMikdash, so we have to be Paida him. And Cherem is similar to that. And V'ekteshus, and anytime you make anything hektish, Umashkenas Asaita, and they'll give the Saita to drink. Right? That must be some Chol HaMoed trip, right? To see that, yeah. But sarfin is a para, and they burn the para for the para aduma. But arfin egla arufa, and they'll also burn they'll chop off the neck of the egla arufa. That means if they find a dead person near the city. V'rights in Eved Ivri, and then they'll put the hole in the ear of the Eved Ivri. Umatarin is a matzayra. We'll also make a matzayra tar. Umafarkin is a minol. And what they would take the locks off of the how do you call it? The bowl. They're not the bowl. They had water, like a hole of water. And it's going to be a better way to say that. A bar of water. So they used to lock it up when there was a drought. They used to lock it up to make sure that nobody would steal water. So then they would take off those locks. And they wouldn't put them back, right, until later on.
So Yaakov, what does it mean, Mitzayr and Mitzayr? Mitzayr, it depends whenever he gets off his days of
right, but
tumah.
you have to. I think it means the inspections. You got to do the inspections and all that.
But
so
that's based on, we're not going to make a guy wait till then, or
I know
like,
sometimes.
Why is that? It's not like the day is specific. It's whenever he's done.
Right. So
we're gonna make a guy
maybe
wait outside the walls for 2 months so that till the 15th of Adar.
I don't know if it means 2 months. I don't know if it means that long.
But why should a guy wait any days?
I don't think you could do it on. You do it on Yom Tiv.
I'm saying, let's say it's a week before he's done.
There's no
Adar.
there's no coin where the guy lives.
He
I don't know,
leaves
but then
a-
he can cut. But if he
what?
makes it before, I don't think it means that you have to do this. These are just things that.
I know it's
that
just a
you
funny
can't-
thing. Like it could coincide with that day, but shouldn't they be doing it every day that the guy requests
You're right.
it, whenever that is?
So maybe that's yeah. I hear your point. But maybe if they don't do it on Yom Tiv, maybe they don't do it on Yom Tiv. So then,
I know, but we're talking
so
about
we're
the
saying
15th of Adar.
Cholamayit
It
is
could have
not
been.
Yom. No, because if Cholamayit is Yom Tiv, then you can't do it.
This is the
Right,
15th of Adar, no?
No, this
What
is
does
talking about
Cholamayit have
Cholamayit. It's Cholamayit, and we're going to compare the two. Yeah, this is talking about Cholamayit.
Oh,
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So that's what's saying. So Tamon, right? Tamon Taninon, but we learned in the Mishna, right? Mashkin in our Mashkin Beis Hashlachon Mitzayin ala Kvaros. It says that you can give you put water in the fields on Cholamayit, and you can be Mitzayin the Kvaros, right? So that's also a continuation of that. That's what they do on Cholamayit. So like Kfar Tziyonu Me'adar, but didn't our Mishnah just say? So here basically saying do it on Cholamayit, but didn't our Mishnah say that you mark the graves on Adar? Right?
On Purim, right?
Yeah. So why are you doing it again on Cholamayit? Yeah. So the Gemara says v'siftar, and you should answer. We answer sheyared shatav shamim b'shatvu. What happened is that it rained a lot after Purim, and it washed. It was like what do you call those things? A squall or a freak storm, whatever. It was a freak storm came in and wiped out whatever work they did on Purim. So they need to redo it again on Cholamayit. Right? What?
Practically why?
Why in Cholamayit?
Yeah.
That's when people are not around. Everybody, it's less traffic.
Yeah, go look at Central Avenue.
What's that?
Right. It's just less. There's less things going
Less
on.
traffic by the Beis Forest?
It's not a basic forest. They buried random places.
But
So
you
this
can't go
wasn't
Beis
necessarily
Forest.
done every year. It's only
You
when there
could
was a
go.
rain like
You could
this.
go. Don't get carried away. What?
So this wasn't necessarily done every year, only when there was a crazy rain.
Right. So right. Correct. And normally, it would only be done on Purim, and then they did it. If there was a crazy rain, they would even do it on Chol. Meaning they would wait. They would then wait from Purim till Cholamayit, because then there's less traffic. Right. So then the Gemara says v'yotzen afal klaim, and they also go out on klaim. So like Kfar Yotzim Adar, didn't they do that on Adar also? They went out for the klaim. So why are they doing it again? Tipotter Shaisa Shana Afel of Einat Macham Nikr. It must be that it was. It was a dark year. That's I think the literal translation, but it means the Einat Macham Nikrim, and it's not recognizable. Meaning the growth came very late. Must have been a colder winter, so the things didn't grow so much. It was very hard for them to see the klaim. All right, so Gemara says Minayin Litzion. Now we're back to how do you know that you're supposed to mark? How are you supposed to make? You're supposed to make a tzion. How do you know you're supposed to make? What do you call it?
Shurish Akeva.
Yeah, but what do you call it? What'd you come in here for, Elio? Kamas matzeva. No, where do we know that? You need a matzeva, right? Minayin Litzion. How do you know? So Raberchia, Rabbi Yaakov Bar. Then we got a few lines of vacation here. Raberchia, Rabbi Yaakov Bar Bas Yaakov B'Shem Rav Chunya Dibras Chavarin, from the name of that's the name of his town, right? Rabbi Yaisa Amrila Rabbi Yaakov Bar Acha B'Shem Rav Chunya Dibras Chavarin, right? Some say it's that. Rabbi Chizkiya Rav Uziel Breder Rav Chunya the Beis Chavarin B'Shem Rav Chunya the Beis Chavarin. Yeah, fine. So yes, these are just names. Okay. That's all it's names. They all agreed, and they learned the Tame Yikra, and you should call out Tame, right? So why do you have to call out Tame? So that you should call out with your mouth to tell everybody, right? To let everybody know that it's Tame, and say, stay away from me. Right? When somebody gets tummy, you got to call it out. Let everybody know to stay away. Sort of like when somebody gets corona, they should call it out and tell everybody to stay away. Right? But the people that didn't do it.
That's why they wear masks.
What?
That's why they wear masks and show.
Yeah, but I'm saying it shouldn't come to that, right? If anybody gets corona should stay away and finish. But that's what we're saying.
They're gonna say yelling for.
Well, that too. Yeah, that too. Right? Fine. So Rav Ila b'shem Rav Shmuel bar Nachman. So he said in Va'avru ha'ivrim ba'aretz v'ra etzem adam u'bana etz leitzion. Right. So it says in the pasuk, right, in Yecheskel, and the people passed by, and when they see the bones of somebody, then they build a tzion. Right? Etzem, right? So what does it mean, etzem? Mikan, from there, shemitzayin and alatzomas, that you would, if you see bones, you gotta make a tzion. You have to make a matzeva there. Right?
Wait, so the first
meaning
the first
even
shot,
if it's just bone, meaning if it's all, even if it's just bones, right? What are you saying?
the first shot was that the Tame Yikra is like a drasha or an asmachta, whatever it is, to every kind of tuma. Anywhere where isolation is recommended,
Correct.
that's what we learn from there.
Yeah.
So it's a tuma thing. It's not about the nifter. It's about the tuma. You stay away from the kever.
Correct. Right. So that people shouldn't become tummy. I'm telling it to the corona. That's my own tzushtah. That's not from the Gemara.
No, I get that, but I didn't understand what the Gemara was trying to say from the tummy.
Yeah, that's why I'm understanding it. Yeah. Anytime there's tumor, you have to make sure that right. Yeah. So
is it a drasha or an asmachta? How are you learning it?
I learned it like I thought it was an asma. I don't.
It's an asmachta, right?
Truly, I didn't give it that much thought, to be honest with you.
No, I was learning it like that. All it's an asmachta. So you're taking it to corona. Makes sense.
Right. I hear
it's
that.
Nothing to do with tuma. It's anywhere where you should stay away from. We learn from Tami Yikra. It's a starter, so to speak.
The Takan Chalatin just says it's a remez to it because the Pashi Dekra is not that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I meant by an asmachta. It's not asmachta. It's a remez.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So okay, fine. So that's etzem. So even for bones, even though there's no body left, there's no skin, but bones, you make a tzion. Adam, mikanshem etzayin ala sherev al gulgoylus. You're going to even make a tzion for the spine and for the head, for the skull. Right? Ubana mikanshem etzayin al gabi evan kavua. You make the tzion on top of a stone. Right? You try basically. That you put, that's what they do nowadays too. You put down a big cement slab, and then on top of that goes the what do you call it? The actual tombstone, right? Fine.
So this is the Yidden were the source of the whole granite industry.
Maybe. Yeah. Right. So then the Gemara says, because if you're going to put it on top of a stone that's detached, meaning it's not in the ground. So what's going to happen is that it's going to move. It's going to get washed away, like we were saying before, right? And they're going to think that things are tameh, and they're going to be metameh for no reason. Meaning, if you put it with a stone and the stone has the tzion, it has written on it that somebody's buried there, and then the stone moves 10 feet to the left. Somebody who by mistake stepped there is going to be metameh everything. And then it's going to be Tameh Shalai Kedin. Right? Fine. So then the next word in the pasuk is Etzlai. The Makam Taira, right? To the place that it's tar. Right? Meaning you thought you shouldn't put it directly on top of it, you should put it next to it. Right? Yes, I mean it gives you a little warning. Now I don't know which direction you put it. I mean, it was saying that you put it next to it so that you have episode warning that you shouldn't, right? If you put it on top of it, so then if you're walking, you're texting and walking, right? So you're not looking down. All of a sudden you look down and you see that you're on top of the grave. But if you give it a little bit of a, what do you call it? If you give it a little advance notice, then it's okay. But the only thing is, you get advance notice from this side, you might not get advance notice from the other side, right? Okay, tzion.
I was going to say, the way we do it, the writing is on the wrong side.
Whoa, why are you saying that?
Well, it's just, from the other side, it's just a stone. If you're writing on the stone to warn people, And the writing should face away from the kever, not towards the kever.
I hear. I don't know. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. So tzion, we can let tzion from the word tzion, we know that there's such a thing as doing a tzion, right? Fine. Then the Gemara says, so that's that pasuk how we learn out about tzion. Umatza even achas mitzuyenis, right? And it says, and they found, if you find one stone that's marked off, even though it's not going to stay there, right? Because you have to move it. If you make an oil on top of the stone, it's going to be tummy. Yeah. Because we're going to think that there's a mace, not think, but there's going to be a mace under it. Fine. But if there's two stones, right? And there's a space in between the two stones, like you're walking in a path in between the two stones, a mile of land, tar. If you make an oil over them, then you're going to be tar. And tummy. But if you make a oil in between them, you're tummy, because the assumption is that they don't make the marker right over the kaver, they make it off to the side. So if you made an oil on top of each kaver, so then that's not a problem. If you made it off to the side, then it is a problem. Right? Right? But if they plowed in between the two, then it's looked at like one stone and not twin stones. Right? And then Beinei and Tar, between them is Tar. But see, we're saying tummy, and around them is tummy. Right? Fine. Tanu, we learned, Ein mitzayin ala basar. Right? You don't, if you just see flesh and you don't see anything else, then you don't make a tzion there. Shemen is akala basar, because what's going to happen is the basar is going to get decayed. Right? The basar is going to get decayed, and so what? So what's the matter if you put a tzion someplace? Right? So the pshat is, because if it's going to decay and it's no longer going to be tamei, so then you're going to have tons of people who, for the long run, are going to end up stepping on this tzion, and they're going to be matama all their tyrus and their truma when it wasn't, because once the body decays and there's no bones there, then you don't have to. Then it's no longer tamei. Meaning,
so better that somebody's going to be matame something
very
without realizing it.
Yes, very good. The Gemara is coming out. It's a very interesting halacha that the Gemara is coming out with. The Gemara is saying that we're going to take short-term loss for long-term gain. Right? Basically, what's the two options here? Right now, there's a piece of flesh on the floor that's buried there or sticking out of the ground, whatever it is. I don't know exactly the case, but there's a piece of flesh over there. Right? Right now, it's going to be matama if somebody steps there. So if we mark it off, so then, and for the next 6 months, when that flesh is still there and before it decomposes, right? So somebody is going to, it will not become tummy because there's a tombstone there, right? But 6 months from now, right? 6 months from now, once this thing is decayed, there's no longer any tumor there. The only thing that's going to be left is this grave site, which people are now going to start being matama things that they were carrying when they realized they were stepping over a grave or near a grave, and it's going to be baseless because the body already decayed. So basically, let's use an example. So 6 months there's going to be tumah there, and then for the next 1,000 years there's going to be no tumah there. So we're going to not mind people becoming tummy there. We're telling them not to mark it because for 1,000 years we don't want people to make something tummy, as opposed to just 6 months. So meaning we'd rather take for the long term, we're going to sacrifice the short term for the long term. That's all. That's what comes out. Yeah.
What are you going to do? 1 second. You're going to put something there?
You're not putting a marker there.
And so people that go short term sacrifice
are going to become tummy. People that are long term are not.
Okay.
What are you saying, Simon?
What do we say about the people that say that going to Germany is like walking in one big cemetery? I understand that there's a hashkafa behind it too. Don't get started on that. But I'm saying, like, people actually, I remember hearing people bring up actual halachic questions. If kohanim can go to Germany, and this again, I don't remember, the actual situations, but I mean, it's something I've heard over the years.
Yeah, there's a concept to that. But why do you have to go to Germany, Simon? What about Eretz Yisrael? There are some that say you can't walk anywhere in Eretz Yisrael.
Fair enough.
right? Because all the earthquakes and the this and that. I don't know.
We take them on eat.
No, people who dafka visit the camps. That's the question. Who dafka go there?
I mean, because
isn't there pieces laying all over? I mean, I was
in
never
the
there.
water, right? In the lakes, it washes up, right? I think that's what they say.
I don't know.
Yeah, Nachanami, I hear. Yeah.
The concept of cemeteries is post-Gemara?
Concept of no, I think they had cemeteries, but they also would just bury. I don't know how it worked there because did they do taras? I mean, why they bury smack in the middle of the thing?
Because they buried in Gemara, because then they wanted to take them to Cave office after. They seemed to buried everybody on it tonight. They just buried them wherever they died.
Yeah,
then they took them to Cave office.
That's so. Did they do taharas? Did they do taharas back then? I don't know. I just thought about that now. I don't know how that works.
Mausoleums. They put them in mausoleums. They let the flesh disintegrate, and then they would take the bones and put them in these.
That's the day. That's the day that they have a valus when they move the bones.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
My cotton, other bones.
Yeah, it's very negaya now. They're moving the bones because a lot of people buried local because of Corona. They plan on. They took
Reb Zisol to Israel on Sunday. Yeah.
Ataka.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is Rebbitzins and by the yard site. Which is Rebbitzins and Spas. Yeah.
Wow, interesting.
A quick anecdote. I have a relative who's involved in Gaza. They had to disinter the bones and the bodies and bring them to other areas because the Arabs were going to destroy the graves. And after the pullback in I guess it was 82, whatever it was. In any event, he dug up various bodies. He's a Rab, and one body was like a 2-3-year-old girl had died decades before and was pristine. It looked like she went down to take a nap. There was not a single hair, anything. I mean, other people were just bones. So when he went to do the shiva, because you have to visit shiva again, he went and told them the story, and the family was very, tremendous nechama. So we don't know. We don't know what
no story
was
behind that. What? There's no story behind that.
That's all he knows. They dug up the body, and he was really taken aback. Everybody was taken aback. You don't see that every day. It's some kind of neshama, obviously, that was in that body.
I hear. Very interesting. Okay, let's see. So used to Bashunan boy Kamei.
Doesn't that call into question the Gemara, what we just said about the Gemara with the short term versus the long term?
Why?
Because now we see that it's not 100% that the body's going to decompose.
Oh no, but this I think was just a piece of. I don't think this is. I think this sounds like from the Gemara. This was just a piece of flesh. I don't know exactly what was going on there with the burial. But that's what it sounds. I have no idea, but I think it just sounds like it wasn't an intact body because then the bones stay, right? So it has to be that it was only flesh, not bones. Exactly how that worked, I don't even want to think about how that happened, but that's what it seems is the case. Yeah, so very good. So Rav Yista Bar Shunam boy Kamei Ramana, Veloy Nimtza Metama Tyrus Lamafreya, right? But are you going to end up being Metama Tyrus Lamafreya? Right, so which is what we've been discussing. We're saying that if you don't mark it off, people are going to become tummy. So that's what he's saying. Better that there should be a kilkel short term, and there shouldn't be a kilkel long term by many people making things tummy for no good reason. Which really is a fascinating concept because. I was trying to think of examples today of when this comes up, but you want to do I don't know when like maybe in Corona, right? So even with Corona shutting everything down, right? There was a lot of loss. There was a lot of a lot of negative situations where they chose or it was chosen that we have to sacrifice we have to do the short term, even though for the long term it's that type of situation, but it's a here the Gemara is a raya.
Some people would say it's the exact opposite. That long term they could have a lot of effects that they're not even taking into account. Meaning, meaning they're sacrificing the long term for the short term.
Right.
I mean, just look at the kids.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see what. Rabbi Yehuda, Barishayna how you oikenu mashlichin lefneim, right? Barishayna in the beginning, They would. This is very interesting. So what they did was they would be oiker the klaim and mashlichin lefneim and send it out. Right. That's what we said in the Mishna. They would just rip up the field and throw it down on the ground. Misharabu over avera. Right. When there became many over avera, hayu mashlichin ledrachim. They would throw it out into the streets. Heskinu sheyim mafkiran es shalsada. Then they decided they just make it hefker and throw it into the field. Right. So what's going on here? So fine. Let's see how this goes. They would be oiker it and they would throw it down in front of them. And then the people that planted the klaim, you gotta love this. This is right. This is gewaldic. It's not gewaldic, but the guys that planted the klaim had a double simcha that the Bezdin came and uprooted their field. So they're saying these guys came and they gave free weeding of the field, right? Because they came and took care of the field for them. And they also were nene from the klaim.
How were they nene from it?
Because now they took it was cut, and then they used it to feed the animals.
But they didn't throw it out? They
know that originally they just came into the field,
they cut
up the klaim, and left it there. Right? So that the guys they were very excited. They got two things out of it. They got them to work the field for them for free, right? And then they got food for their animals. So then what?
Not also to use?
It's not also. It's not also. It's not also bahano.
Oh.
They did an issa, but it's not also bahano.
From an issa.
No, but it's only an issa is only if it's an issa hana. Right. Anyways, it's not klaim anymore once they uprooted it. Besides, right. So then misharabo over avera. And when the Ivory Avera got more, they became more and more. Then they would throw it into the street, right? So then at least it wouldn't be able to be used by the animals because when they threw it in the street, it would get bad. It would go bad. And they were still happy. So they saying at least they were getting free weeding and all that stuff. So then his they would make the whole field hefker. And then anybody can go in there and take the stuff. So that already put a stop to it. Right? Fine. So minayin shehefker bezdin hefker. Oh, so now there's a big concept that actually has to do with mechiras chametz a little bit. Right? One of the concepts with mechiras chametz is that bezdins make something hefker, then they could just make it hefker. That's what they say when if the guy dies. Let's say the guy who you sell the chametz to dies. So now what do? Right? You can't buy back the chametz. So one of the tzadim to be mekel is hefker bezdin hefker. Right? You just make it hefker. Whatever it is, it's an interesting concept. But how do we know hefker bezdin hefker? Which is what we're learning here, right? Because here we're learning that you make the guy's field hefker.
How could Beis make somebody else's field who has an owner hefker still?
What?
I understand the chametz if the guy dies and you make it hefker because now it's ownerless, essentially, because the guy that you sold it to is no longer living, right? But the field still has an owner, even though there's an isser going on in the field. So how do they even make it hefker to begin with? How are they allowed to do that if they're
hefker? That's what we're saying. Hefker bezdin hefker.
How does that work?
How does it work?
How does eminent domain work?
Eminent domain is somebody using the property, isn't it? For a certain amount of time. This is them just walking by saying, "Oh, there's klaim there. We're making it hefker."
So that's
slaughter's right.
That's
what?
Well, that truth is
right. Okay, I'm sorry.
Uri, that's what the Gemara is asking. I mean, that's not really asking how it works in minayin. How do you know that even such a concept, right? So minayin hefker bezdin hefker. And then, of course, you can really be cynical and say, well, who said that hefker bezdin hefker? Bezdin
right.
Bezdin said it, right?
Reb Tzviaka, why didn't the Gemara just say that there's a tremendous power that's given to Dayanim? So the same way they could paskin shilas and say this person, the money goes to this person.
Shilas is different than saying that somebody's field is hefker.
Well, who gives them that right?
Nobody is now. They allowed Beis now allowed to go and say this field is now ownerless, and now they can go.
Same way they could pass in shilas and say this person owns the money and that person doesn't.
So let's say,
but I don't know why
they could put somebody to keep and have him die. I mean,
I'm
Yeah,
saying they have
The
rights over dinim
Melech,
ominous.
the Melech does that, not the Bez.
That's a and then we're not even going
Well,
to get
Bezdin
into
also
the
does it.
machtzis.
And what happens to the field there? So it's hefker. So now somebody can go and resell it. Can Beis
Yeah,
sell it then?
I think you can move in there. I don't know exactly what's gonna.
So if
probably
Beis
cause a
sells
civil
it, where does
war.
the money go? If Beis sells it, where does the money go?
This
I have
is
no
the
idea.
Orlando. This is the Orlando Gemara. We
That's
got our
saying, that's what I'm
COVID.
saying.
Now we're doing Orlando Gemara.
Maybe that's what happened in Orlando.
He's
They
talking
just-
right. He's talking
they
right.
took
There's multiple
everywhere.
people. Right, multiple people moving into the same house. Okay, let's see. Right. So minayin shehefker bezin hefker. How do you know that hefker bezin hefker? The siva chol asher lo yavi l'shloishes hayamim. If they don't come for 3 days, this is again another wonderful time in Klal Yisrael's history, where they were all marrying goyim, right? Again, and so they said v'chol asher lo yavi l'shloishes yom be'atzas hasonim baskenim, with the eights of the elders. Yechram kol rechushay, we're making everything hefker of his. V'hu yavdil, v'hu yibodol mikahal kahagoyla, and he's going to end up being separated from everybody. This is what they were doing to try and get everybody to come to Yerushalayim to get rid of their non-Jewish wives. So you see clearly from the pasuk that they said, "Hey, if you don't come, we are making all your property hefker, and we're separating you. We're just cutting you out." Fine. Yeah. So now the Gemara says, right? How do you know that if something is hefker, then you don't have to give maisa on it? I mean, you don't give maisa on anything that's hefker. I mean, if somebody makes his field hefker, does he have to give maisas, chumas, and maisas, and all? He does not. If he makes it hefker, so Rabbi Yonis and Breder, Rabbi Yitzchak Baracha, Shamala min Hada, he learned it from this brisa. Ein ma'avrin nesashana, loy b'shviyus v'loy b'matzis shviyus. We don't make an ibriyar. We don't make a leap year, not during shmitah, right? And not in machtzis shmitah, and not the year after shmitah. But if they did do it, then it becomes a leap year. The chaydish echad shehu ma'asif, and the 1 month they're adding loy potter mi ma'asus, loy potter ma'asus. So it's not potter from ma'asus, right? Meaning, is it not? Meaning, if who made the extra month? Bezdin, right? So is that going to make it? Is that going to make a potter ma'asus ad kadon shviyus, right? Or now they have a gears to change here. Nicha shviyus, right? Motzei shviyus mai. So, but this is just discussing. We're going to get back to Gemara's kasha in a minute. But this is just saying we understand not to do it during shmitah, right? But what about motzei shmitah? So Amar Rabbun shalayla rabbis be'isur chadash. The reason is because we don't want the isur chadash, because you can't, right? You're not allowed to have new grains until after Pesach, second day Pesach, right? If we're going to make an ibriyar after shmitah, so now the whole shmitah, you couldn't work the fields, and there's going to be a shortage. And now all of a sudden you're going to make everybody have, and then you can't have the new grains that grew until after Pesach, until after the second day Pesach. So now you're going to push it to another month. That's going to be way too difficult on Klal Yisrael, right? So then Rav Zira b'shem Rav Elazar, Hada Ta'at Omar, this is what you're saying. Actually, hit the Rebbe lahavi yarek mechutz la'aretz la'aretz. This is before Rebbe mated them to bring the fruits and vegetables from chutz la'aretz Eretz Yisrael, because we know that chutz la'aretz has a takana that it's tamei. So you're not allowed to bring. They didn't allow you to bring vegetables because vegetables end up with dirt on it. So you're bringing it into Eretz Yisrael, being with tam Eretz Yisrael. But then when became a problem, so then Rebbe mated it. Hit the Rebbe lahavi yarek mechutz la'aretz la'aretz. But when Rebbe matter bringing vegetables from chutz la'aretz, he shviyus, he shall shashana shvua. Then you can be ma'aber the year and be ma'aber the year after, because they were able to import fruits and vegetables from chutz la'aretz Eretz Yisrael. So then the people had what to eat.
When were they masak in the calendar?
When they were masakin, it was real p. It was the machadash at p.
I'm saying by Rebbe's time, Hillel Zakin was before Rebbe, no?
Hillel I think was after. I don't know. There's so many Hillels. I don't know when.
The one that was masak in the calendar, was he before or after Rebbe?
We need Shmuley for that. Shmuley. When you listen,
I always assumed it was before Rebbe, and what would, once that's true, the Bezdin was never masakin. Iber is after that.
That's a second Hillel. I think that was what second.
I think it was a later Hillel. That's what I think. I can't.
It was
say
after Rebbe. He was an Amira.
Somebody could Google it. I'm sure. If you Google it right now, I'm sure you could find it.
No, it was before Rebbe.
It was before Rebbe? You
Yeah,
sure?
Hillel Azaken was before Rebbe. Yeah.
So then what's the pshat in this?
I don't think that's correct.
No, Hillel the Azaken was before, but what about the calendar Hillel?
I think it was a
That was
second.
Hillel
Also
Azaken?
before, all
You
before
sure?
Rebbe.
Okay,
Yeah,
so then,
pretty sure.
then I hear Akiva's kasha. Then I don't know. Then
I don't know if the 19-year cycle of Ibiyars was part of the.
Well, whatever
part
it
of the
is,
original.
whatever it is, next year is shmitah. Next year is shmitah, and it is an Ibiyar. Right?
Here.
Right next year is shmitah, correct?
Yeah.
Next year is shmitah, and it is a leap year because obviously it's not negay anymore.
Well, today we can have both.
Right,
That's
that's
this
what the Gemara
Gemara.
is saying. Huh?
Yeah.
I hear. So that you're saying
Rabbi
it just
Google
it'll work
said-
out.
Rabbi
Though.
When did he write? Which one? Which Hillel?
The second one.
Rabbi Google
And
says
what
it was
is
Hillel Hasheni.
320 to 385 C.
What does that mean with Rebbe?
It was after Rebbe.
It was after. That's I thought. That's what I thought. But okay, fine. Tana, okay, it's late. It's late. Tana ain't my. Yeah, we got people coming over here that are not so happy that this Mechiras Chametz is not, but I tell them that they whatever. But if I'm not by 10 o'clock, if I'm not done by 10 o'clock, then it's really going to be a lynching over here. But anyways, so Amar Rabbana Hadoda At.
Just keep the camera on.
Yeah. So Amar Rabbana Hadoda At Amar, right? This is what we're saying. Parishayna Shayu Hashanim Kitiknon. Right, when the years is very interesting. I think this is a global warming Gemara right here. When the years worked the way they were supposed to work, right? So then everything was fine. But now that the years are not tiknon, meaning things grow, things are out of whack, right? So then it's shvius and shmitah because you don't necessarily know when the food is going to grow, when it's not going to grow. I don't know. This seems to me a proof for that the world is out of whack even back then. Right, so and the culture came now. Fine. Tani Shabbos Rebbe Gamliel Ibru b'Motzei Shvius Miyad. In Beis Rebbe Gamliel, they made it into a leap year right after shmitah was over, meaning that's in Tishrei. Meaning they announced in Tishrei that Adar is going to be a leap year. So Amar Rav Avan, Ein min Hadar. Right? If it's less, how do you read it? You gotta get used to these lashonis here. Amar Rabban, ein min hada, less atshma min no klum. It's not ein. In means yes, right? That's what here it is. If you're saying yes from this, you're saying this pshat from this, less at the shma min no klum, then what you can't hear it, you can't get it from this pshat because it says shamiras chodesh ha'aviv, right? You should watch the chodesh ha'aviv, the first month. That's Nisan. Shemreu, watch it sheyaviu b'chidusha. That it should come in that the spring should come in the proper time in Nisan, right? V'haida amarda and so how do you? I'm sorry, that's it. I'm sorry, that's the end of that. Then the Gemara says v'haida amarda. Then where does it say that you can make things hefker? So gadish aloi like a tachta because you have in a Mishna and payoff you have a gadish. Right, so there's something called leket. Leket is the stuff that they then shikha is the stuff that they left in the field. They forgot to pick it. Leket is the stuff that that it fell when they were trying to gather it, and then it fell. So what happens if a guy takes his whole pile of grain and puts it down on top of the leket? So a gadish, a pile, shaloi like a tachta, where the leket was not, they did not, the aniyim were not.
He gone.
I haven't heard a good he gone in a while. Thanks, Simon. Not since I was watching Duck Dynasty. He gone.
Their package, yeah.
I guess they really got upset about the Mechiras Chametz and having to wait. I don't know.
I was gonna say it's not quite 10 yet.
Do you hear me?
All right, I'm back.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. It's totally clear. Okay. So anyway, so Gadish, I'm sorry about that. Gadish, like a tachta. So a Gadish, a pile that they did not have the leket, take out the leket from another. Kol hanoigas ba'aretz harein shalaniyim. Anything that's touching the ground becomes the aniyim. Even the stuff that was not meant to be leket. Right? Why? because they're making it hefker bezdin hefker. Again, there's leket, the stuff that the aniyim was supposed to get. This guy came along and piled all his stuff on top of the aniyim's leket. So the chachamim made a knas. I guess it's a knas that anything that's on the bottom layer, he's losing. That has to go to aniyim. V'amar Rav Ami, right? And Rav Ami said, b'shem Rav Shimon ben Lakish, the Beis Shammai, that's going according to the Beis Shammai, right? So then it means that somebody could make himself an ani and he could be mafkaret. The Beis Hillel aniyim eichlin masim, but because according to Beis Hillel, aniyim could eat and take off ma'aser. Rabbi Yossi Shemanu Shu Patim in ma'aser. Divrei that really it's positive for ma'aser according to everybody. Mishum knasa, because there's a knas. And so you see that with Hillel, this works according to Hillel too, because you say hefker bezdin hefker, and then memela the bezdin has the kaya to make everything hefker, and then therefore you can give this leket to the aniyim. Okay, next Mishna, right? Halacha Gimel, as we call it in Yerushalmi. Yeah, but Chamisha Asabai on the 15th. Now we're back to Shekalim. So B'Chamisha Asabai on the 15th day, right? Of Adar, so Shulchanos Hayyashim Medina, then all the money changers. They called it Shulchanos because they set up tables and they were changing money because people came from all over that they needed to get half shekels, right? So you can just imagine the way it went in Eretz Yisrael and back then. All of a sudden, the money changers appear from nowhere as it starts getting closer to Rosh Chodesh Nisan. So B'Chav Hey Yashvu B'Mikdash on the 25th day, they sat by the Beis they sat in the Beis Hamikdash. They have to do it though. Is the tzarech. And once they got to the Beis Hamikdash, then they started to be mamashkin people. Meaning back then Bezdin had power. So if a guy did not give his machtzis a shekel, they'd go after him. Right? As mima mashkin, who did they go after to get a mashkin? Meaning they would physically take things from them if they didn't pay up. Leviim v'Yisraelim v'Geirim v'Avadim v'Shachrarim, they would do to the Leviim, Yisraelim, Geirim, Avadim v'Shachrarim. Avaloi Nashim v'Avadim v'Katanim. Nashim Avadim v'Katanim, they did not force them to pay. V'chol katan shehischil aviv lishkol al yodei, and any katan that the father began to give the shekel, shuv and can't stop, which is where we come from the halacha. Right, where the halacha comes from, he could come in and sit down. Right, where the halacha comes from, that if you start giving machtzis a shekel for your child, you can't stop. Right, if you start giving machtzis a shekel for your child, you can sit down. You can't stop. Right, fine. So then mashkinas kohanim, they would not force the kohanim to pay because of darkei shalom. Right, now that's going to be a whole Machlokes whether kohanim do have to give machtzis a shekel or not. So let's see. Some of you, the Hayed ben Bukhri b'Yavne, kol kohen shekel ain't a chayte. A kohen who gives the machtzis a shekel, he didn't do a chet, meaning he's not chayiv to do it, but he certainly can give machtzis a shekel if he wants. Amar le Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, Rabbi ben Zakkai told him, loiki, no, it's not true. Ela kol kohen she'eino shekel chayte. If a kohen that doesn't give half a shekel, then he does a chet. Ella shakahanim darshim mikras elatman. The kahanim darshan the pasuk to themselves to justify not doing it. B'chol minchas kayin kolol tia loisaychel. Right? It says, and any mincha of a kayin, anytime a kayin brings a carbon mincha, you're not allowed. It gets totally. It's not eaten. Right? Hayol v'aymer v'shtei alechem v'lechem apanim shalanu. Since the Kohen says that the Omer and the Shtei Alechem and the Lech Aponim is ours, Heich Necholin, then how can we eat it? Right? So basically what they're saying, that if the Kohen doesn't want to give them up,
Is it his house or is it like Far Rockaway right now?
I'm starting to think it's icky.
It's a good call.
Okay, we're back in business.
All right, we can stop talking about liner now. You're muted, Yaakov. Thiago, you're muted.
Sorry, I don't know what's going on with this. Keeps crashing my thing. But anyway, so what the kohanim is saying is that there are the shtei alechem and the lechem upon him gets eaten, right? If they're going to pay from the machtzis hashekel and it becomes and ends up being part from the kohen, it ends up being from the kohen's property, then a kohen, the halacha is that a kohen is not allowed to eat from his karbonos. So that's why they say we might as well just stay out of it and not give any money. So the Gemara says, "Ein mashkin as a katanim," right? If we don't do mashkin, meaning we don't take, how do you call mashkin? Collateral from them if they don't give the machtzis a shekel. But you are allowed to ask the kids to give money, right? Hadot tema v'shehevi shtei saris, and this is only talking about where the katan brought shtei saris, meaning what it means. Obviously, it means katan here. It doesn't mean less than bar mitzvah, right? So, because otherwise it wouldn't be. But it's saying here that he doesn't have shtei saris. That's what it means a katan. Then you can't. If he doesn't have shtei saris, you can't even ask him to pay any money. Right, and certainly you can't take a mashkin from him. That's a question whether we guard that or not. Until we got to change the gears here. Till he's 20 years old. Once he's 20 years old, he doesn't have shtei saris up until 20. Then you can't go after him. But once he's 20, then you can. Kaini must nisan, and that's what the Mishna says. Ein mamashkin is kohanim b'nei derech hakavod. You can't be b'mashkin, meaning you can't take collateral from a kohen because it's derech. It's not derech hakavod.
And everybody else, we don't care. I'm just saying, we don't care about kavod.
I guess so. I guess because
meaning to some extent.
Usually the kohanim are the receivers, right? Because they're working in the Beis Hamikdash, so they're the ones that receive things, right? So therefore, they get it wouldn't be right to be mashkin. Yeah, that's what it has to be. Fine. So Rabbi Yehuda Hayid, right? So he said Eidos, right? Rabbi Yehuda said Hayid ben Bukhri and Yavna that the kohanim did not. If they did, then it's not a chet. Somewhere about time of the Rabbi Yochanan and Zakkai, because it says a very interesting limud. Zeh yitnu. Yud Beis Shvatim Yitnu. Zeh is gematria 7. Zion is 7. Hey is 5. That makes 12. That makes 12 Shvatim. So all 12 Shvatim have to give machtzis hashekel, right? Zeh Yitnu. Yud Beis Shvatim Yitnu. So you obviously see from this Gemara that gematrias do mean something. Rav Tavi b'shem Rav Hamnuna, right now Rav Tavi b'shem Rav Hamnuna asks on this, right? Kain b'shivim chacham li Rabbi Yehuda. This is what the chachamim answered Rabbi Yehuda. Chatas yachid mesa. We know that a chatas yachid dies if something goes wrong with the chatas that belongs to a yachid, to a private person. Then it has to die. Ain chatas tzibur mesa, but a chatas tzibur does not have to die if something goes wrong with it. Mincha, we had that a little bit in pesach. Mincha sayachid kreva kolel. The mincha of a yachid goes totally up, is totally burned. Vein mincha satzibur kreva kolel. But the mincha of a tzibur does not get totally burned. The kasha, right? So what's the kasha? Meshivin la'adam davar she'ein moideh. Are we going to ask from somebody something that he does not moideh? The Tanan she'ein chatas tzibur mesa. We said that the Mishna says that the chatas tzibur does not die, but Rabbi Yehuda disagrees and he says, Thomas, it should die. So the Gemara is just sticking in parenthetically that how are you asking a kasha on Rabbi Yehuda if he doesn't hold to the din that you're asking from? But whatever it is, v'hu ma'asivlon, and Rabbi Yehuda is going to answer, Zu loy nidvas yachidi. The chatzi shekel is not a nadava of a yachid. Ve'ein mischaven le. Ve'ein masiven le. And they didn't. I'm sorry, I keep getting mixed up. See, it's inun, and they answer them. Kivan shenimtzera letzibur kamishu nidvas tzibur. Since the chatzi shekel gets given over to the tzibur, so then it becomes a nadav of the tzibur, not a nadav of the yachid. Fine. So Ksiv says kala iver ala pikudim. Anybody who goes through the pikudim is when they get counted. Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yehuda and Nechemia have two different pshatim what this means. Chadam are called the avar biyama yitain. Anybody who went through the Yam Suf, they have to give, right? then that means kohanim and Leviim also have to give. So they went through the Yamsuf. V'charna Omar called over al pikudai. Only people that got counted give. Right? The kohanim and Leviim did not get counted. So Mandamar called over b'yama yitain Messiah Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. The one who says that whoever went through the Yamsuf has to give, that's a raya to Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. The kohanim and Leviim have to give machtzis hashekel. Mandamar called over al pikudai yitain. And the one who says that only people that were part of the counting of klaim have to give Messiah Ben Bukhri, that's approved to Ben Bukhri, the kohanim and Leviim don't give. I don't know Lemaisa, how do we paskin? I don't know. I'm not sure if kohanim and Leviim give or not. Okay, so I guess we'll stop here. I'm sorry for all the.
This is not interesting that you have two Amayroim that the Gemara brings that are now the Gemara says they're rayas tanoim.
Let's go. Who's first? What? I
Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Nechemia, Tanoim, Amira, what are they? How are they rayas Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai?
I don't know. Are these the same regular ones from the Babli? I'm assuming so, right?
Whether they are or not, you never have this.
Yesterday we said
Tanoim. One Tana is a raya to another Tana. It's an interesting logic.
Yeah.
He holds like him fine. He's a raya.
Right. I hear that.
From the end of the Mishna, we said that kohanim shouldn't give because they can't eat their own karbanas. We just got talking about hefker based in hefker, no? Why is this any worse?
Oh, because the Torah says that a minchas kohen cannot be eaten. It's an oila. They all have to go up.
I didn't hear the question. I couldn't hear the question. Lousy phone liners got over here.
The question is, by the end of the Mishnah, we said a kohen can't eat his own carbon, and that's why they can't give. How's that any worse than hefker based on hefker? And it's not their carbon anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know, Gershon, does your answer still answer that?
Well, which door?
Yeah.
Which door?
But it's not their mincha. They gave the money to the Beis Hamikdash.
How are you?
That's why the Mishnah says al shekayim dershim mikrazela atzman. It's not true. He said it's not true. But Lamaisa they have to give, but they darshan this backwards. The chol minchas kohen kol tiyah. That's the Torah. You can't change that. It's an issa deraisa, not to burn off a minchas kohen.
No, I understand, but it's not a minchas kohen, right? That's what the trial is. It's not a minchas kohen.
No, you're right. You're right. That's why the darshan mikrazela atzman. They darshaned it for their own benefit, but you're right. It's not true. Once it's there, it's a carbon tzibur. It's not a carbon. It's not a minchas kohen.
If you want to hang out, you can
kind of being sneaky. I hear you.
Okay,
yeah.
There you go.
All right. Thank you.
Good night. This is getting
Okay, I'm sorry.
I wish I was there.
We'll take you. All right.
Good night. Oh.
Is that the Valdez?
Why is my phone not working now?